Meet Marcel Petiot, the French doctor who promised Jews safe passage from Nazis, only to rob and murder them. Friend, before we go any further, I would like to humbly request you please subscribe to my channel, so I can reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Your support truly means the world to me, so please subscribe. Hello viewers, in today's video we're uncovering the sinister double life of Dr. Marcel Petiot, a trusted physician in Nazi-occupied Paris who turned his practice into a house of horrors. Was he a resistance hero, or was he simply a cold-blooded killer hiding behind war's chaos to commit unspeakable crimes? Without further delay, let's begin unraveling this disturbing story. It's never easy to say that one murderer is worse than another, but Marcel Petiot stands out because of what he did during a very dark time. While France was under Nazi control, Petiot told people he could help them escape to safety. But instead of helping them, he took everything they had and took their lives too. Even though he became infamous in France, many people around the world don't know his story. Like many other killers, Marcel Petiot's early life was full of inner struggles that shaped who he would become. Marcel Petiot was born in France in 1897. Because of his behavior, he was kicked out of many schools, but he still managed to finish his studies by the age of 18 in 1915. After that, he joined the military, but his time there is unclear, since he often spent long periods away, likely because he couldn't stop stealing things. Eventually, Marcel's habit of stealing, especially taking military blankets, landed him in jail for a short time in Orleans. Military officers later released him with disability benefits after a psychiatrist said Marcel had suffered a mental breakdown. During this time, Marcel had even shot himself in the foot and needed to stay in the hospital. After his time in the military ended, doctors suggested that Marcel should be sent to a mental hospital. Instead, he worked at one while studying in medical school. He finished his medical degree in just 8 months and began working as a doctor in Villeneuve-sur-Yonne in 1921. While working there, Marcel developed 2 dangerous habits that would shape the rest of his life. He started using strong medicines too often and became involved in harming others, although it was never confirmed. Many people believe Marcel's first victim was Louise de Louveau, a young woman he was seeing in 1926. She was the daughter of one of his patients, and after she and Marcel started spending time together, she suddenly disappeared. No one saw or heard from Louise again. When the police started looking into Louise's disappearance, neighbors told them they had seen Marcel loading a large trunk into his car. Some people thought it might have contained her body. The police checked into it, but they couldn't find any evidence connecting Marcel to what had happened. Not long after Louise went missing, Marcel decided to run for mayor of Villeneuve-sur-Yonne. He won the election by paying someone to cause a distraction during a debate, throwing off his opponent. Once in office, Marcel wasted no time taking money from the town for himself. After stepping down from different political positions and getting elected to others, Marcel moved to Paris with his wife and young son. There, he began building a successful medical practice at 66 Rue Caumartin. During this time, Petiot was briefly placed in a mental health facility because he couldn't stop stealing. But when World War II broke out and France fell to the Nazis, most people stopped paying attention to his troubles with the law. Even though he didn't completely escape it, Petiot was fined 2,400 francs for giving out illegal drugs. He was supposed to go to trial, but the 2 people who were going to testify against him suddenly disappeared before the trial could begin. For Petiot, France during the Nazi occupation was the perfect place to carry out his plans. The country was split between those who supported the Nazis and those who were trying to escape them. Petiot took advantage of the fear people felt and saw a chance to profit from it. He soon came up with a plan that would bring him both money and power. He began by claiming to be a member of the French resistance, likely to gain people's trust and hide his illegal activities, which included selling drugs without permission. Petiot even invited Jewish people to his clinic at 66 Rue Caumartin, promising them a safe way out of Nazi-controlled France. He also let resistance fighters, small-time thieves and criminals hide in his home, claiming he was helping them escape the authorities. But what looked like a noble act turned out to be the start of one of the most shocking crime sprees France had ever seen. Using the name Dr. Eugene Petiot, promised to help people safely leave France if they could pay his fee of 25,000 francs, which would be nearly $500,000 today. He even hired people to help find and bring these clients to him, and those helpers would later face trial as his accomplices. None of the people who trusted Petiot with their escape were ever seen again. He told them they needed vaccinations before leaving, but instead, he injected them with poison. After taking their valuables, Petiot got rid of their bodies, leaving families to wonder what happened to their loved ones. However, as the Gestapo's presence in France grew stronger, Petiot found it too risky to move his victims' remains out of the house. So, to avoid detection, he began to quietly dispose of them on his own property, hiding any trace of his dark activities behind closed doors. In a strange twist, the Gestapo ended up stepping in to stop Petiot. When they learned about the activities of Dr. Eugene, they arrested some of his helpers. Under pressure, they revealed his true identity, Marcel Petiot. But by the time the Gestapo came looking for him, Petiot had already disappeared into another part of Paris. Now working alone at 21 Rue La Sueur, Petiot found it harder to get rid of the bodies of those he had killed. The task was becoming too much for him. Then, for reasons still unknown, Petiot left town for a few days in March 1944. While he was away, neighbors noticed a foul smell coming from his house. Thick, strange smoke was pouring from the chimney, leaving many uneasy about what was happening inside. When police came to check, suspecting a fire, they found a note on the door saying Dr. Petiot was out of town and would be back soon. They called to inform him about the strange smell and smoke. Petiot told them not to enter the house until he returned. After waiting nearly an hour, police and firefighters entered 21 Rue La Sueur. Inside, they found a scene they couldn't believe: body parts scattered around, stuffed in bags and suitcases, vats of quicklime, and an incinerator with bones and limbs. At least 10 bodies were found, but none were whole. When Petiot returned, he claimed he was working for the resistance, and that these were the bodies of enemy soldiers and traitors he had defeated. Surprisingly, the police believed Petiot's story enough to let him go for the moment, considering the chaos in France at the time and the respect people had for the resistance. It's understandable why they hesitated to arrest him immediately. Even so, not everyone was convinced by Petiot's story. Commissaire Georges Victor Massou opened an official investigation, believing Petiot was a dangerous lunatic. He questioned Petiot's wife, his brother Maurice, and the men who had worked with Petiot at 66 Rue Comartin. Piece by piece, the truth came out. Police arrested them all as accomplices. But when they went to Petiot's home to finally arrest him for murder, he had already vanished. When the Allies invaded Normandy in June 1944, the search for Petiot was paused. Taking advantage of the chaos, Petiot hid with friends, telling them that the Gestapo was after him for killing informants. During this time, he changed his name multiple times, let his hair and beard grow long, and managed to stay hidden for over a month. But Petiot couldn't stay under the radar for long. He ended up joining the resistance, which earned him praise, but would eventually lead to his capture. While using a fake name, Petiot became so well known as a resistance fighter that a French newspaper even featured him in a profile. But when the article was published, people who knew Petiot recognized him and contacted the police, revealing that the wanted murderer was still hiding in Paris. In February 1944, someone spotted Petiot at a train station, leading to his arrest and a murder charge. Marcel Petiot went on trial on March 19, 1946, facing 135 criminal charges. During the trial, he claimed that he had only killed enemies of France while serving as a resistance fighter. To support his story, Petiot even listed the names of certain resistance groups, but people in the courtroom told him that these groups didn't exist. As the investigation continued, it became clear that Petiot had been stealing from his victims, leading to a charge of murder for profit. Over time, he had taken more than 200,000 francs, the equivalent of around $2 million today. During the trial, Petiot admitted to killing some of the 27 victims found in his home, but not all of them. Throughout his life, it's believed he took the lives of at least 60 people, though he was officially convicted of 26 murders. The court sentenced Petiot to death by beheading, and he was executed by guillotine on May 25, 1946. While Marcel Petiot was already responsible for many deaths, his greed may have limited the number of his victims. By demanding fees that were too high for many people seeking escape, he likely prevented himself from claiming even more lives, despite his claims of fighting against the very evils he became part of. Viewers, this was the chilling story of Marcel Petiot, the doctor who promised freedom but delivered death during one of history's darkest times. Let us know your thoughts about this case in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this chilling story? Share your opinions in the comments below. We'd love to know how you feel about these shocking events. Thank you for watching. If this chilling story gripped you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories that peel back the darkest layers of history. And remember, if you or someone you know is struggling with heavy thoughts, please reach out to a mental health professional. Your life and well-being are far more important than any story we cover here. Take care of yourself, and until next time, I'll see you in another haunting case that demands to be remembered.